So Kirk Franklin is getting dragged by the Christian community for sitting with some black men and basically praising their cussing. Take a look.
Am I wrong for cussing?
I think that if you cuss, I just want to make sure that do you know what you're doing? Like, what would be a couple of your combos?
Yes, man, that raggedy over there. But I'm not saying it nasty. I'm just saying it like,
Can you give me one more?
just one more, please. Man, this thing over there going,
Oh, my
but
God.
I'm not saying that in a phrase.
You don't really mean that they stink or
No,
ugly.
they don't think they're not ugly. It's like, it's a term of endearment.
Can I just keep it 100 and not even cap? I would love to be your friend. Oh, your combos are excellent.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I'm not even remotely surprised. We're talking about Kirk Franklin, who also went to Jamaica and was performing so-called gospel music, wearing a what we like to refer to as a wife beater and winding up himself, and the Jamaicans didn't take too kindly to that. And then he ended up having to do what? Go on an apology tour. And you would think that he learned from that. But clearly he has not. If you're going to sit down with black men who asked you, is it okay to cuss? And his response was, oh, give me your combo. What's your combo? And then these men are like cussing up a storm. And what does he do? He laughs. Not only does he laugh, he says, your combos are excellent. And then, if that's not enough, he turns around and says, I would love to be your friend. And this is supposed to be a minister in music, a servant of God through music, and has millions and millions of followers, millions and millions of people buy his music. And he sat there, and instead of saying, no, it's not okay to cuss, and then bringing scripture to explain why one should not be cussing, he sat there and laughed. This is why it says in the scriptures that there'll be a great falling away. This is why it says that a lot of, people like these people who are supposed to be sanctified, supposed to be set apart, are out here mixing and mingling with people that are of the world and are somehow influenced by that. And instead of standing up for God and saying, no, you should not do this, or you cannot do this, this is what they do. And let me just say this. We're all imperfect, okay? There's only one perfect being that walked this earth, and that's Jesus Christ. Everybody else, we all sin. So I'm not going to sit up here and say that I'm perfect either. I know my shortcomings, and I know the work that I have to do, okay? But I'm not a gospel singer. I'm not a preacher. I'm not a pastor. I'm not tasked, and shouldn't be as a woman, to be winning souls to Christ through whatever gift that I've been given, okay? His whole brand is about gospel music. His whole brand is about ministering through song, okay? And he is not putting out a good example of somebody that's supposed to be a minister of God, okay? He's wrong for sitting there and doing that. That is a reprobate mind at work here. And, he's definitely influenced by the devil, okay? Because there's no reason why anybody who's supposed to be a man of God, anybody who's supposed to be a servant of God, would sit there and laugh in all good consciousness. I mean, there are people in the world who don't even go to church, who are not, servants of God, who are sinners and still know better than to say that is not good. And looking at somebody who's supposed to be a minister of God, okay, and reinforcing that and praising that and calling it excellent, would sit there and say, well, why should I go to church when we have people like this man who's supposed to be, a Christian out here praising sin? That's why there's so much people that are confused about, why would I go to church? People like him that are supposed to be an influence that people look up to, that, there are a lot of people in this world that look for some sense of peace or some sense of God. And people like him are people that, would look up to and would want to, emulate, would want to be like, would, want to follow. And this is such a terrible example. Such a terrible example. And as I said, he's getting dragged. And I'm sure he's going to come back out again and apologize and, say that he's not perfect and please forgive me and all of those other things. And you know what I have to say to that? You need to go to God and look for forgiveness for what you did. Because when things like this go on the internet, they don't go down. So you need to find your way into repenting for what you did. And it's between you and God. It's between you and God. And then us as a community who are believers, who are followers of Christ, need to stop consuming anything by people like Kirk Franklin, who are not setting a good example at all. Like anybody who's in holiness, who can sit and watch that and not see how wrong it is, I don't know what to say. Me personally, I'm not a fan of Kirk Franklin. I never have been. I don't like his music. I don't like what he represents. I don't like how he represents. I don't like how he presents. I don't like the way he talks. I don't like, his whole, all of the people that perform with him, their whole look. There's nothing about this man that I like. And I would never be interested in following, consuming his music, anything to do with this man at all. But that's me. Anybody else who's a believer, who's in the way of holiness, who, follows the right servants of God, drop your comments in the chat. And even those who don't, let me know what you think about this. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share this content. Also, don't forget to download the African Diaspora News app. You can grab it at your Google or Apple store. And subscribe to my YouTube channel, Emma Ansa Unfiltered. Until next time, please be safe.